Rock and Roll Geek Show 909.
Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA, online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original Rock and Roll Geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Sunday, March 24th, 2019, and it is 12:30 in the afternoon when I'm recording this episode. Well, last night, I was going to do a show last night, but I decided that I should sit down and watch Motley Crue's The Dirt on Netflix. I figured I needed something to talk about, and I knew The Dirt was coming out. I listened to interviews. I've listened to a ton of interviews of Nikki Sixx and others talking about this movie. And I listened to Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee on Eddie Trunk's show. I finally got around to watching it last night. I was going to watch it Friday. Had Butler's stuff to do, with the Butlers, and didn't get time. So I sat down last night and watched it, and I took notes. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a review of the Motley Crue movie, The Dirt. Also some other things as well. I got audio comments, emails, and some new music to play as well. I'm going to start off with some new music. I have, let me pull up my outliner here. I got an email from Mike from the Nuclears. I had Mike in my studio a long time ago. The Nuclears are kind of a band from, I think they're from upstate New York, somewhere around New York, and they remind me a little bit of Wildlife. The same type of same vein of music as Wildlife, which I happen to like a lot. And anyway, I got an email from Mike out of the blue. Let me turn off the Facebook because I'm getting tons of notifications here. Hey, Michael Butler. Mike from the Nuclears here. Can't believe it's been half a decade since I got Tecate wasted in your studio. Great times and great hangs. I'm still mildly... I can't read. I'm still mildly embarrassed about how slurring and nervous I became. Yeah, you and me both, friend. The Nukes got a full record coming out at the end of the next month, and a track off that we just released called Lightspeed Getaway. I attached the MP3 if it'd work for you to spin while pulling out a show out of your ass. I also put in a song called Back to My Girl, which opens the record. Thanks, man. Hope you and the family and dogs are doing fucking great, Mike. Thank you for the email, Mike, from the Nuclears. I love the Nuclears. I don't think they put out an album in quite a while, so I'm quite happy to hear new Nuclears. So that's what we're going to start. That's what we are going to start off the show with right now. Let's see. I'm going to play Lightspeed Getaway. He sent me two songs. I'm going to play Lightspeed Getaway from the Nuclears.
Lightspeed Getaway. Across the Milky Way. For shows we gotta play. Just a Lightspeed Getaway. Started out on Mercury. It was so bright I could barely see. Venus was where all the girls
There you go. Brand new Nuclear's Lightspeed Getaway. All right. Before we get into the review of the dirt and talk and read some comments, some other people's reviews and other things like that, I need to thank people who donated on the show. The most important people on the Rock and Roll Geek Show are the people who donated. As you know, friends, this show is a value for value proposition, as the great Adam Curry says. Donate to this show what you think it is worth to you. And these people thought it was worth something, so I would like to thank them. Let me find some music to play in the background. How about Brand New End Machine? It is most of the guys from Dokken. George Lynch, Jeff Pilsen, is that his name? The bass player, and Mick Brown, the drummer. I think so. Those three guys, plus the guy who now sings in Warren. I don't know his name, but in the background, I will play that. All right, let me find the End Machine. Brand New End Machine. It is just called the End Machine. All right, opening here. There are several ways to donate to the Rock and Roll Geek Show, friends. You can do like these people did and send me cash or check. Like Magnus Stensson sent me 100 begonias. Rodney Cross sent me 200 begonias. And Greg Brofer, friend of the show, sent me $20 cash. He says, as promised in my show review, here's a donation as I promised. Sorry so long to get you. Thanks for all you do, and I really love the show. Just bought the new Backyard Babies album after listening to the track by track you did. Take care, waiting for the next show. Stay frosty, Greg Brofer. Thank you, Greg Brofer. You can also go to patreon.com. Let's hear how End Machine sounds. Oh, boy. See, this is the problem with aging rock bands, or bands that were around in the 80s and want to stay relevant. It doesn't sound relevant. It sounds dated. And the singer plays with everybody. He plays in Warrant. Now he plays with George Lynch. He used to play in Lynch Mob. Is this what you got to do to be a mercenary and get a gig playing in bands now for a living? All right. Woo! I'll give it a chance, but not loving what I'm hearing so far. You can go to patreon.com/RNRGeek. Like Michael Brown, one of my oldest friends in the world, donates $25 every episode. What else we got here? There's got to be something better, right? Let's see. Maybe a little bit better. George Lynch is a fantastic guitar player, so I guess that doesn't mean he's a fantastic songwriter. Well, this is not that bad so far. Maybe until the vocals come in, probably. All right. Thank you, Joseph Coyne, new donor. $10 every episode on the Patreon. Thank you, Joe Pawlak, for the $6.66 every episode. My pocket's filled with rocks.
I got keys to all these locks.
Love. Right there.
Secrets.
Thank you, Derek Lewis, for the $5. Thanks, Dan Gerawan, for the $5. Thank you, Brian Springer, for the $5. Thanks to Bette Wood for the $5. Thanks to Grant Farquhar for the $5 every episode. Thank you, Jamie Jefford, $5. Thank you to Marshall York for the $5 every episode. Thank you to Tim Schall for the $5. Thank you to Sean Hartwell for the $5. Yeah, the guy's technically a good singer, but I mean, no offense to you, Richard Fusey, because I know you like Miles Kennedy, but it's that style of vocals. It just sounds... It's too good. Where was I here? Thanks to Sean Hartwell for the $5. Thanks to Robert Harvey for the $5. Thank you to Brad Shick for the $5. Thanks to Daniel Segan for the $5. Thanks to my friend Michael Street and friend of the show, Michael Street, for the $5 every episode. Thanks to Ken Kennedy for the $5. Thanks to my good friend Chiaki Hinohara for the $5 every episode. Thank you to and also from the he's also from the Japanese Metalhead Show and Metal Moment podcast. Thank you to my podcast mentor. His card is no longer declined. Dave Slusher, $5. His credit's now in good standing. Thank you to John Boveri for the $5. Wow, this is bad. What else we got? Ain't No Game. AC/DC style. See if the singer can ruin it when he comes in. Lost my place. Thank you to Derek Coward for the $2.50 every episode. Thanks to Chad Burns for the $2.50. Thanks to Paul Rue for the $2.25. Thanks to Adrian Boschrock on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook page, which I did not create, but I do approve people. You just got to answer 2 questions, so I know you're not a Russian hacker meddling. The Manafort investigation. He's going to investigate people who hacked the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook page. Oh man, this singer annoys the shit out of me. Lost my place. Oh, Adrian Boschrock, yes. Boschrock. Thank you to Patrick Shanahan for the $2. Thanks to Kirk Crawford for the $2. Thanks to Mike Dixon for the $2. Thanks to Paul Underwood for the $2. Thanks to Stephen McIntyre for the $2. Thanks to Bruce McMillan for the $2. Thanks to Matthew Hunt for the $2. Thanks to Eric Stowell for the $2. Thanks to @MetalDan, Amy Bowen, Bondstone, John Richardson, Arnie Stash, 3 Legs, 4 Wheels, and Corey Kohler, all for the $1 on Patreon. You can also donate through PayPal. All these links are at rockandrollgeek.com, by the way, friends. Just click the donate link. It is much appreciated. Elodie Johns, my first girlfriend, donates $20 on PayPal. Douglas Free, $20. Thanks to Richard Fusey for $20. Elodie Johns donated another $20 just because she was feeling generous. Thank you to... I guess this song's not horrible. What else we got? How about Bulletproof? Thanks to Dave Jackson in the School of Podcasting for $10. Thanks to James Venners for the $10. Thanks to Jeff and Sherry Thielicki. Used to donate $5, but Jeff doubled his donation to $10. Butler, you're an idiot. Casey rules. I'm doubling my donation. Thanks to Jason Shepard for the $10. Thanks to Dave Franco for the $10. Thanks to Ralph Miller for the $10. Friend of the show and friend of mine. Baseball season coming up. Thanks to BJ Lisco for the $10. Last of me! Oh man, this sucks. Why am I still playing it? I don't know, friends, but I am. Thanks to BJ Lisco for the $10. Thanks to friend of the show and friend of mine, Todd Cunningham, for the $10. Thanks to Sigmund Heidacher for the $5. Thanks to Richard Fusey for another $5. Thanks to Brett Garsky for the $5. Thanks to Andrew Howe for the $5. Thank you to John Offenloch for the $5. All right, how about the last song in the album? Life is Love is Music. Thanks to... Where am I? John Offenloch for the $5. Thanks to Dale Roller for the $5. Thanks to Jer O'Carroll for the $5. Thanks to Kelly Mitchell for the $5. Thanks to Richard Strom for $5. Thanks to Christopher Del Grande for the $5. Thank you to Benjamin Muller for the $5. Thank you to Peter Spark for the $5. A little funky? Let's dance, people! Thank you to John Tennis for the $5. Thanks to Greg Long for the $5. Thanks to Eric Lentz for the $5. Thanks to Kelly Mitchell for the $5. Thanks to Michael, another $5 from Kelly Mitchell. Thanks to Michael Williams for the $5. Thanks to Deborah Dreyfus for the $2, if that's your real name. Thanks to Richard Fusey again for $2, another $2. Thanks to Jason Wendelfen for the $2. Thanks to William Moffat for the $2. Thanks to Lassie Sattvidhagen for the $2. Thanks to John Skiller for the $2. Thanks to Bradford Page for the $2. I take a sip of this fine Tecate to everybody who donated to the Rock and Roll Geek Show, friends. And if you don't want to spend any money, but you would like to contribute anyway, you can also go to the Amazon link at rockandrollgeek.com, and anything you buy on Amazon, I'll get a little kickback, friends. Thank you, everybody who donated. This show's a value for value. Whatever you think this show is worth, I ask that you please contribute that. Or as Adam Curry says, chip in. Okay. I can't take this anymore. Kill it! All right. All right, you ready to do the Dirt sound movie review? All right, let me pull up the Facebook because I asked people on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook group. Let me see, Facebook, for people to give me their reviews of the new Motley Crue movie, The Dirt. Let's see. Oh, happy birthday to Steven Souza Zetro from Exodus. Just saw that it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Steve Souza. All right, let's see. Let me pull up the Rock and Roll Geek Show Facebook page. I asked for reviews. Where is the part where I asked? All right. Well, Joe Klein started his own thread on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook page, and he says the Motley Crue biopic, while silly and senseless at times, was pretty entertaining throughout. My thoughts on what could have improved the movie: more blowjobs, more sex, more drugs, more rock and roll, and more barf, and finally, far more bass. But hey, don't take my word for it. Then he sent a link to some YouTuber doing a review, which is couldn't make it through that review, Joe Klein. That guy was a bore. All right, so I asked for reviews on The Dirt, and I got a whole bunch of them. I watched it last night. I took notes, believe it or not, extensive notes, and I figured what I would do. You know how I do the Rock and Roll Geek scoring system and do a track-by-track review of albums? Well, I figured I would do a scene-by-scene review of the Motley Crue Dirt movie. There's about, I counted about 45 scenes total, so give or take. But I'm gonna do a scene-by-scene review. If I like the scene, this is spoiler alert. So if you have spoiler alert. If you have not seen The Dirt yet and don't want to be spoiled, you can skip. But you know the story. Everybody's read The Dirt, which, by the way, is one of my probably top 3 rock books that are out there. So, I love The Dirt. So if you read The Dirt, you know what it's about. I mean, you know all the stories. Nikki Sixx dying, Ozzy snorting ants, blah, 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 all that. So I'm not really telling you something you don't know. I'm just telling you scene by scene of what the movie is. So if that bothers you and you've not seen the movie, pause this and go watch the movie and then start it again. All right. Scene 1. I need something to write down my scenes on here. Right? Let's see. Let me write down The Dirt. Gotta have a lot of page here because I gotta write. Okay. So scene 1 starts off with them in their band house. And Nikki Sixx says, "We had so many parties and the cops came so many times. We had to nail the doors shut, man. We weren't a band. We were a gang." And they're all having sex. Nikki Sixx has is setting his arm on fire. Vince Neil's fucking some chick in the bathroom while looking at a poster of himself on the wall, and Tommy Lee's eating a girl out in the living room, and he makes her squirt. And people said, even Nikki Sixx said in interviews that I've read, that. Oh, what did I just do here? Oh, fuck. I lost my notes. Oh. I got to pause it and find my notes. All right. I accidentally hit delete. I had to find them back. Okay. So where was I? Oh, Nikki Sixx said this first scene is going to shock you. And the guy who reviewed it in that YouTube video that I tried to watch before I got bored said the first scene is like the most outrageous and how could they even get an R-rated movie? The first scene is just so disturbing and unbelievable. So I'm thinking this is going to be like a really good, crazy, unbelievable. They show tits. That's it. They show tits. Big deal. So that being said, the first scene of the movie, although short, it was only like a couple minutes long. It was a good scene. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I give that scene a +1. All right. I hope you're with me on this long scene by scene review. So then, did I just hit fucking delete again? What the hell? Okay. Second scene. So then we go to Nikki's terrible childhood, because Nikki's kind of telling the story. Speaking of that, most of the story is from the point of view of Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx. Possibly because they were creative consultants on the movie, I'm guessing, and they were the ones who pretty much put most of the movie together, were more instrumental in getting the movie made. So I figured that they figured that their scenes were the most important, their stories were the most important. So the book, The Dirt, as you know, it's an oral history. Everybody in the band is kind of like telling their own sides of what went on in the timeline. Let me take it with this fine Tecate. And they told it to Neil Strauss, the guy who actually wrote the book. So scene 2, we go to Nikki Sixx's terrible childhood. He's got stepfathers who are beating him, and his mom is fucking all these different dudes, and she's bringing a different guy home all the time. And by the way, the mom in this scene, horrible actress. The kid who's playing Nikki Sixx acts circles around her. And then Nikki cuts himself, and he cuts his arm, and he calls the cops and tells the cops that his mom cuts her, and he gets her arrested, which I call bullshit on this scene. I don't think it really happened. Kids don't cut themselves and report their mom. I don't believe it. So Nikki Sixx, I'm calling you out as a liar on that one. That scene. Oh, and Nikki Sixx is playing. He's jumping around playing air guitar in his room, like most of us kids who wanted to be rock musicians did. He's doing it to some glams. It sounds like a Sweet song, but it's not Sweet. And it also sounds a little bit like a Suzi Quatro song, but it's not a Suzi Quatro song. I don't know the name. I don't know what song it is, but it could be Gary Glitter or something like that. That scene, I'm going to give that scene a 0, because that scene was pretty stupid. All right. Then we cut to, he moves to Hollywood. Well, there's actually, the mom getting arrested, that's actually part of another scene, too. The lady cop comes in, are you sure you want to arrest your mom? And his mom's there begging, please don't do it, Nikki. Frank, excuse me, his name is Frank Ferrano. Don't do it, Frank, please don't, Frank, don't do it. And then Nikki goes, I'm doing it, and don't you ever talk to me again, I'm going to my room! And then cuts to Nikki, or Frank, moving to Hollywood. Decides to try to reconnect with his dad. So he calls his dad, because I think his dad was living in L.A. somewhere. So he goes to Hollywood, calls his dad. His dad blows him off. Horrible dialogue. Completely irrelevant part of the movie, I thought. So I'm giving that scene also a 0. Okay, scene 3. All right, next scene shows Nikki going into the clerk of the county court or something, some kind of city office, to change his name. And he changes it to Nikki Sixx. And the woman goes, Nikki Sixx? You're going to change your name to Nikki Sixx? And he says, like, yeah, I am. By the way, the guy playing Nikki Sixx, pretty boy. So you know Nikki had something to do with this movie being made. Because he picks like a gorgeous dude to play him. Kudos to him for wearing an Alice Cooper shirt in that scene. Alice Cooper first album shirt. So for that alone, I give that scene a +1. All right. All right. Next scene. We cut to Tommy Lee's upbringing. First word out. So Tommy Lee is in his bedroom with posters all over his wall. Dad comes in. Hey, son, how you doing? And first word out of Tommy's mouth, dude, I'm going to the show tonight to see London with my new girlfriend, and I think this is the one. Dude. By the way, I counted the dudes in the movie. I counted the number of times Tommy Lee said dude. I think I counted around 26, give or take a few. So, dude count in the movie, 26. Where am I? Oh, he's got a nice, loving family. He's wearing his sister's leopard print pants. All right, I like that scene. It shows Tommy's got a nice childhood. And the guy playing Tommy Lee, what do you know? Good-looking dude. Anything to do with Tommy and Nikki being the main guys, the instrumental? You tell me. All right, I give that scene a +1. All right, scene 6. Tommy goes to Denny's because he knows Nikki's there. Nikki just quit the band London, and he's sitting by himself, all alone, drinking his misery with blood coming out of his nose because he got into a fight with one of the guys in London. By the way, the guy playing Nikki in the movie, not only is he good looking, but he's a bad actor, okay? Just so you know. So, pardon me, I'm clearing my throat. Oh, speaking of that, you don't notice my desk never squeaks anymore. Listen, I oiled it. So if the show sucks from now on, mark this as the turning point. When my desk stops squeaking is when the Joe jumped the shark. All right, where am I here? So we go to Denny's. He meets Nikki and Denny's. I'll give that scene a half. Wasn't that great? Tommy's in there with his girlfriend, and Tommy kind of makes a fool out of himself. He's embarrassed. I got all your posters on my wall, dude. Which, by the way, he did say dude. And the first word came out of his mouth when he talked to Nikki is, dude, great show, dude. So it was okay. It wasn't a great scene. Another thing. Every interview that I've read or seen or heard with Nikki Sixx and talking about this movie, I watched one on YouTube today that Joe Klein sent me. The guy interviewing them compared the movie to Goodfellas. Goodfellas is one of the greatest movies ever made. This movie's a fun movie. It's got fun parts. It ain't no Goodfellas. Yeah, we wanted to make a movie up there with Goodfellas. So to do that, we got the guy who made Jackass to direct it. Yeah, okay. It's a corny movie, okay? It's fun in times, but it ain't no Goodfellas, Nikki Sixx. He's talking like this movie should be nominated for Oscars. Maybe a Razzie, but not an Oscar, Nikki. Sorry, pal. I know I'm not your pal, Nikki. All right. So, what scene am I? Okay, the Denny's. All right. Next scene, 7. So the first practice, they're practicing they have some other guitar player there, big, fat, overweight dork, hippie dude. They're trying to play Live Wire. So it sucks. They go to take a break. In walks Mick Mars. They carry Mick Mars' amp up the stairs. Of course, Mick plugs in. Speaking of Mick, he looks a little bit like Nigel Tufnell, and he's not a good-looking dude in the movie. Coincidence? So Mick kicks the guy out, the other guitar player out, and they start sounding good again. They start sounding good. But they got to find a singer. All right, that scene. Oh, speaking of that, so I want to get back. No, I'll wait on that note. That's for another scene. That scene with them at their first practice, you see them practicing, it's kind of endearing. I like that scene. I'll give that scene a +1. All right, next scene. You find out the story of Mick Mars. He talks to the camera. There's lots of fourth wall breaking. Mick looks at the camera and said, "This is me," or something. You find out the story of Nick, and it cuts to him in the doctor's office. The doctor telling him he's got some rare spinal disease, and his spinal cords getting fused together. And you're supposed to feel sorry for Mick, but for some reason, I didn't. I just thought it was a dumb scene in the movie, and it lasts about 30 seconds. And I guess the scene needed to be there because you had to establish that Mick had some kind of that he had an ailment. So I'll give that scene a half. Not a great scene. All right. So then they're having a band meeting. They got to figure out what they're going to do. They need to get a singer. Let me take a sip of this fine Tecate. Yes, I'm watching the movie, so you don't have to, friends. So they have to get a singer. Who are we going to get? Tommy says, I know a guy. This guy up in the valley, man. I know him. He's in a cover band. We got to go check him out, man. He's blonde. Because Mick goes, or Nikki Sixx goes, we got to have a guy who's a little bit Bowie and a little bit David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth look and with Bowie sensibilities. And Mick goes, you mean you need a skinny blonde guy who gets a lot of chicks? And Tommy goes, I got the guy, dudes! And Mick goes, this guy better be good because I'm looking to go the distance. That is a direct quote. I'm looking to go the distance. Cheese ball line. I'm looking to go the distance. That's an Oscar-worthy line right there. Stupid scene, 0. Give that one a 0. All right. Rock and Roll Geek scoring system for movie scenes. This bit could die, friends, but what the fuck? I'm already in it now. All right. So they go to see Vince Neil playing in a backyard pool party. He's playing a Billy Squires song, which, by the way, there's a article in Ultimate Classic Rock. Was it Rolling Stone? Fact checking the Netflix movie The Dirt. And it says, but they didn't meet Vince Neil at a backyard party. When Neil first comes on screen in The Dirt, he's singing Billy Squires' My Kind of Lover at a backyard party, while the women up front go insane for him. Let's overlook the fact that My Kind of Lover wasn't even out at the time. And while he was in a cover band back then, the first meeting took place at the Starwood in West Hollywood. Okay. Oh, and Neil avoided the band for a lot longer than the movie suggests, and they had to basically stalk him for weeks before he even agreed to an initial jam session. And they didn't... Okay, I'll cut to there. So they go to see Vince Neil, and then you find out Vince's story. And, of course, Vince's whole story is it's all about sex. All he wants to do is get laid. That's pretty much his story. His backstory is he wants to fuck chicks, and all these girls at the party are crazy about him, and then he picks some girl up at the party and takes her back to his apartment, and they snort coke, and the girl gives him oral sex. So that's Vince joining the crew. For the fact that they put a Billy Squires song in that scene, and there's hot chicks, and there's sex, I'll give that scene a +1. All right. So then Vince comes to the first practice, and he brings his girlfriend who he picked up at the party. And she says, I just want to make sure this band is worthy of you, Vince. So they're practicing in Nikki's living room. Took notes of what they were playing. Nikki Sixx playing a PV Mark IV bass head, which I own to this day, and an Ampeg 410, which I also own. And in that scene, they're playing the actors who are playing who are playing Motley Crue are actually really playing. The drummer, Machine Gun Kelly, looks like he learned how to play the drums for the movie. The guitar player can really play guitar. The guy playing Nikki Sixx, I guarantee you, the guy never picked up an instrument before this movie because he can't play. All right, that scene. Oh, and so they're playing Livewire, and they're playing in a regular tuning, A440 or whatever, and it doesn't sound right. And Vince's girlfriend's looking like, oh, these guys suck. And then Mick goes, let's tune down a little bit. to fit his voice. And they tuned down to like D or D sharp or whatever, and it's heavy as hell. And the girlfriend goes, "Holy shit," which you can see in the trailer. She's blown away, and the band is on their way. Woo! That scene, for the fact that the band's really trying to play, I'll give that scene a +1. All right. So they have a band meeting to try to make up the name. They need to have a name. Nikki Sixx. We need to name the band, dude. We got to take punk to the next level. We got to be one up. It's got to be a name that grabs everybody. And he's got to hold up a picture of a pentagram, and with the words Xmas, which I guess maybe Christmas. And Mick goes, "That name's stupid. It's horrible." So then Tommy wants to name it the Foreskins, and he's got a picture of a dick. And then Mick says, he goes, "Well, you got something better, Mick? You try it." And he goes, "I got it. We're going to call the band Motley Crue." And he writes down Motley, Crew. And Nicky goes, "Hold on, dude. I got it." And he takes it and it changes it to CRUE. And everybody goes, "Wow, that's it. Holy shit, it's the greatest name ever." That scene is fucking stupid. 0. Okay. So then you cut to the first gig. This beer tastes good. I hope you're with me on, again, I'm hoping you're with me on this scene-by-scene review of the Motley Crue movie. I mean, I could have just gave it a 2-second review, but then we'd have no show, friends. So cut to the first gig. They get a gig at some little dive bar. There's a few bikers in the audience, and some people are not really paying attention. They're looking at them like, who the hell are these guys? Because they're all decked out, leather, and Vince Neil's girlfriend just bought him a $600 pair of white leather pants, and he's all proud of them. "My girlfriend spent $600 on these pants, man." So they come out, "We're Motley Crue!" And then Tommy hits a cymbal, and his cymbal falls over, and everybody's like looking at him like, these guys suck. And then the biker dude spits on Vince Neil, and nobody spits on Vinny. So he jumps out in the audience and starts fighting the biker dude, and the biker dude punches him. Then Nicky stands up for his bandmate and swings his Gibson Thunderbird and knocks the biker down. Big barroom brawl. And then some guy in the back of the room goes, "Yeah, Motley Crue!" And everybody looks at him like, "Yeah, Motley Crue, these guys are badass!" And then they get back on the stage after the fight, and they start playing, "Take Me to the Top, do, 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 to take me to the top." And everybody loves them. And that was the first gig. They won over the audience. I'll give that scene a +1. I kind of like the beginning of the movie because it's silly. It's kind of like a Lifetime TV movie, but fun. All right. Next thing you know, they're opening for Ozzy Osbourne. They're already here. Wait a minute. Is that what happened? No. Next thing you know, they're playing the big clubs, the Starwood and all the clubs, and they're taking over the LA club scene. Everybody's loving them. It's a montage and them playing everywhere and partying, and everybody loves the crew. They're doing a big stage show. Everybody loves them. All right. +1 for that scene. All right. Every time I say all right, you can have a drink, friends. Next thing you know, when they're at the club gigs, Tom Zutaut from Elektra Records shows up. "Hey, I'm here to check out the band. I'm Tom Zutaut from Elektra Records." Played by the guy from Saturday Night Live, Pete Davidson, who I've never seen act in my entire life, but he's playing kind of a dorky character. And so he decides he wants to sign the band. Let's see, where am I? First gig, they're huge. Okay, yeah. So they meet him at the Rainbow. There's a girl underneath the table, and she tries to give Tom Zutaut oral sex under the table, and Tom Zutaw gets freaked out. But they get a record deal. He signs them. And he goes, You guys want a record deal with Elektra Records? And Nicky takes Tommy's head and bangs it on the table 3 times, like shaking his head yes, which is a takeoff of them backstage at the Up Festival, I think, at the US Festival, when he does that to Tommy Lee backstage, but not as hard. For the fact that the rainbow and a reenactment of the rainbow is in there, I'll give that scene a half. Other than that, it's a pretty stupid scene. Next thing, they're having a party at the Motley Crue apartment. And David Lee Roth is in the house at the party. Or some guy who's playing David Lee Roth. And the guy playing David Lee Roth looks ridiculous. But David Lee Roth is snorting coke, and they're all doing coke. And some punk rock skinhead guy is in the party. And he falls into a mirror, and the mirror falls on David Lee Roth's head and breaks. Nicky goes up to the punk rock skinhead dude and goes, Hey, man, that's David Lee Roth. You just knocked a mirror on his head. You better show some respect. And the guy goes, Fuck you. What are you going to do about it? And Nicky pushes the guy or something like that. And here comes Doc McGee to the rescue and punches the guy one time, and he's knocked out on the floor. And he goes, Looks like you guys are going to need a manager. Oh, yeah, what can you do to us? I manage Kiss, I manage this band, I manage that band, and I take care of them. They're all rich. And so they go, Yeah, we like this guy. We think we'll let him manage us. Okay, so that scene, I'll give that scene a half, too. Because David Lee Roth's in it. Other than that, it's pretty stupid. All right, next scene. They're already playing in front of 18,000 people. Opening for Ozzy. Everybody loves them. They're about to go backstage. Tom Zutaw's there with his girlfriend. Looking for his girlfriend. Where's my girlfriend? Nicky, you got to come. Vince, you're on stage. Anybody seen my girlfriend? Anybody seen my girlfriend? Of course, Vinny is in the dressing room fucking Tom Zutaw's girlfriend while he's looking for her. So he's a little bit late getting on stage, but he made it. And Nicky goes, Hey, man, he just signed us to Elektra Records. If he finds out, we're going to get dropped. And he goes, Yeah, but he ain't going to find out, is he? And they're on stage, and everybody loves them. The crew is now huge. 18,000 people. Oh, and Nicky does a pre-gig pep talk. Forgot about that. He does his pep talk. We got an old guy in the band. We got a cover band singer. We got a punk rocker and a kid drummer. 4 misfits, but we're our family, and we're going to take over the rock scene, man. Lame pep talk. 0 for that scene. Let me rethink that. They are playing. It does show them on stage playing. Which, by the way, the actors playing the band at this point, they're no longer playing. It's Motley Crue, and they're lip syncing clearly. I'll give that scene a half. I'll change it to a half. All right. All right. Where are we here? Oh, next scene at the pool when they're on tour with Ozzy. The famous Ozzy scene with the ants and the piss, drinking the piss. What do my notes see? Oh. Nicky, they're all sitting by the pool. Nicky turns to Vince and goes, Hey, Vince, or hey, Vinny, how many chicks have you fucked so far? 3? And he goes, No, man, I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about this tour. Oh, here's a quote. Oh, I kind of lost count after that gangbang in Salt Lake City. So let me try to figure this out. So did he gangbang one girl with a bunch of guys? Did a bunch of guys gangbang a girl, or did a bunch of girls gangbang him? I don't get what he's saying there, but regardless, the dumb line. So then out walks Ozzy, who's the guy playing Ozzy is a complete caricature. Ozzy's wearing a Homer Simpson muumuu. with nothing on underneath it, and he's shocking everybody by the pool. And Ozzy goes, "Come here and talk to Uncle. Let Uncle Ozzy give you some advice, boys." Nicky, "Ozzy, how do you keep up with us kids? You're older than us, and you managed to keep up with." Pardon me, I'm Burns Fine Tecate. Again. You managed to keep up with all of us. Hey, kids, give me a bump. He goes, "Oh, man, we don't have any Coke, Oz." "I said, give me a bump. Give me your straw," because Tommy Lee's drinking a straw or drinking something out of a straw. So he takes the straw, and he sees a line of ants walking along the pool, and he decides to snort them. "Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that story. Bullshit." To this day, Ozzy doesn't remember doing it. Nicky swears it happens, but at the same time, Nicky swears that he doesn't remember even talking to Neil Strauss about that book, and he lied about the part of him raping some girl. So, I'm calling bullshit. He did not snort ants. And so then, Ozzy pulls out his dick, pees on the concrete of the floor of the pool, goes down, he goes, "Everybody's got a drink but me," and he goes down and licks his own pee up. And Nicky goes, "Watch this." Nicky pees, and Tommy goes, "Don't do it, man, don't do it." So Nicky pees on the floor. Ozzy drops to his knees again and starts drinking Nicky's piss. "Bullshit! I'm calling bullshit." That being said, who cares if it's bullshit? Who cares if it's bullshit? I mean, it's a good story in the book, but that scene is absolutely ridiculous and lame in that movie. Ridiculous. So I give that scene a 0. All right, 19. All right, so then you cut to a montage of all the debauchery that they're doing on the tour, of the Ozzy tour. The crew did stupid things. Oh. So they're by the pool. Doc Neeson is up on the balcony watching all this happen. Watching, Ozzy drink Nikki Sixx's pee and snort ants. And Doc McGee's on the balcony and goes, "A lot of bands did stupid things because they thought it was a cool thing to do on the road and be rock stars. But Motley Crue, they did stupid things because they were Motley Crue." And then it cuts to all these scenes of them doing debauchery backstage, going to strip clubs, snorting coke, cops chasing them. Tommy had to get handcuffed to the bed because he's so crazy. Basically showing them doing crazy things on the road. All right. Yeah, I believe they did crazy things on the road, but I don't think they did the crazy shit they said they did, but I'll give that scene a +1 because it shows the debauchery that goes on the road. It's the next thing. Nikki Sixx meets Tom. So they're doing the Shout at the Devil video, and Tommy Lee's parents are there to watch him film the video. Taking some notice of this fine Tecate. Tommy introduces Nicky to his parents, and Andy also introduces his parents to his new girlfriend, who's going to be his fiancée. Little did Tommy know that Nicky had just now banged Tommy's fiancée in the dressing room of the video shoot or something. The girl doesn't like Tommy's parents. Okay, so wait a minute. Yeah, okay. So they meet the sister. And Tommy tells his parents, "Hey, Mom and Dad, I want you to meet the Sixter." I guess he refers to Nikki Sixx as the Sixter. Because it is the Shout at the Devil video shoot, and they kind of look like Motley Crue in the video shoot, I'll give that scene a +1. Next scene, they're on the bus, still on tour. Tommy's fiance is on the road with him, and his fiance goes. Well, this is when the movie starts turning dark. By the way, it goes from being a fun romp into the '80s metal scene into the darkness. It gets all serious now. All right. So they're on the bus, and Tommy's girlfriend goes, "Tommy, your mom's a cunt." "Dude, don't say that. Don't call my mom a cunt." He's telling Nikki about this idea he's got for a spinning drum riser that turns upside down. "Don't call my mom a cunt. Give me a pen. I need a pen. I gotta write this down. I want to show Nikki I want to show the Sixter my idea for the drum riser." And she goes, "Here's your pen," and she stabs him in the back with the pen. He turns around and says, "Get this chick off my bus. I want her off the bus." And she spits on him or she pushes him. Tommy turns around. Here's when the movie gets dark. He punches his fiancée. That's when you're supposed to feel sorry for this girl that he just punched. At the point in the movie, I didn't care. All the serious parts of the movie, I just didn't care. The part where Mick Mars has a degenerative disease, didn't care. Nikki getting abused by his parents, don't feel sorry for him. It's just you don't care. For some reason, these characters are unsympathetic. Same with Tommy's fiancée. She's unsympathetic, and I didn't care. So he punches her. The movie gets dark. The music, starts being serious, dramatic music. It took too fast of it. It goes from being a fun-loving, debaucherous romp to immediately just being dark. Didn't care. So that was Tommy's dark side. You see Tommy's dark side. Okay. Next scene. They're at a party. Tommy meets Heather Lee. Oh, Razzle comes onto the scene. So Nikki's going to take Razzle. You all know this scene. Nikki and Razzie, not Nikki, Vince and Vinny. I'll call him Vinny from here on out because that's what they referred to him in the movie. Vinny and Razzle. Wait a minute. I forgot that. Punching meets the girlfriend. 6:20. Okay, when the punch a girlfriend scene 21, I give that scene a 0 because it happened too fast. All right, so next scene, Vinny and Razzle are going to get some booze, and Vinny and Razzle Vinny's going, "F, marry or kill. Who would you fuck and who would you marry? Would you fuck or kill? You got the choice between Cyndi Lauper and Boy George." And they're having a, in quote, intelligent conversation about who would you rather bang, Boy George or Cyndi Lauper. So it goes from that to Tommy Lee meeting Heather Locklear. So is that when he died? I'm looking at my notes here. So that's when the car crash happens. Okay. And Razzle dies. By the way, speaking of Heather Locklear, the girl who's playing Heather Locklear is a dead ringer for Heather Locklear. So she looks just like her. So the unknown people in the movie are actually good actors, but the main people, the acting's just pretty fucking horrible, man. That scene, I don't care about the characters. And you see Razzle die, but you would think, because in the Queen movie, as cheesy as some of the parts of the Queen movie were, there were parts that were kind of tear-jerking. You actually felt for Freddie Mercury's girlfriend and all that. There were kind of some tear-jerking moments. This part of all, you should be crying when Razzle dies. He's laying there and he's dead. Vince is crying. "Oh, my friend, no." You don't care. I did not care. I did not feel the least bit sorry for any of it. It didn't do anything to me. So that scene, just a bummer. I give it a 0. It's not even a bummer. It was just a dumb scene. I don't know why, but it just didn't come off as sympathetic. Nobody came off in that scene as sympathetic. I don't know if they meant it to, but I didn't feel sorry for Razzle. I didn't feel angry at Vince for wrecking the car. I didn't feel angry at either of them for drinking. I didn't feel sad for Nikki or for Vinny. Sorry, I don't know why I got these names screwed up. So I give that scene a 0 because I just don't care about the characters. Next scene. All of a sudden, out of the blue, Nikki Sixx is a junkie. Nothing leading up to it. He's just a junkie. He got dramatic music and he's sitting in his house by himself doing heroin. Again, I don't care. I could care less. It was a dumb fucking scene. It was completely stupid. And it's like Nikki glamorizing being a junkie. And it was just dumb. It was a fucking dumb scene. The dramatic music was corny as hell. So I give that scene a 0. Again, we're at the point in the movie where it turns dark. So everything no longer is fun. It's all a morality lesson from here on out. Which, by the way, the first part of the movie, I quite enjoyed the first part of the movie. Bad acting and all. Cheesy dudes and, dude. Vinny fucking all the chicks, doing cocaine, debauchery. As cheesy as some of it was, I enjoyed the first half of the movie. Just the second part just becomes a downer. And not even a downer in a good way, where you care. So now the next scene, the band's a mess. Everybody's fucking up, and everybody's just a mess. Nikki slips Vince some smack. He shows up late. I call it smack. Vinny thinks he's gonna snort a line of coke. Turns out he throws up. It turns out it's a line of Nikki's words. Hey man, that was smack. What'd you guys slip me, man? That wasn't coke. Yeah, man, it was smack. Anybody who calls it smack, I don't know, man. But that scene was dumb. Dumb. I give it a 0. So it's taken so far. All these scenes are getting 0s now. Next scenes, more scenes of Nikki sinking farther down into the heroin depths. Don't care. 0 scene. Next scene, you meet Vince's daughter. Vince's daughter comes into the picture because his wife was pregnant during the razzle scene, and so they finally give birth. And they're on tour for Theater of Pain. And Doc McGee has a tattoo that says entertainment or death. And he's got a new tattoo, and he's talking to Vince Neil. And Vince goes, man, this album sucks. He can't stand the album. Theater of Pain, man, this album sucks. But they're on tour for the album Theater of Pain. He goes, no, man, there's a lot of hits on this album. Look, by the way, and Doc McGee goes, by the way, I just got a new tattoo. And it says entertainment or death with the graphic for Theater of Pain. And Vince goes, Nikki just changed the name of the album to Theater of Pain, right? He goes, oh, man. And he got the tattoo with the wrong name. Paying no attention to the fucking backdrop on the stage that says Theater of Pain on it. That being said, I give that scene a half because Vince Neil hates the album, which, by the way, is in the book. I believe he says he didn't like the album Theater of Pain. That's the album where they go glam. All right, next scene. This is the scene where Tommy is nuts. Hey, you don't want to know what the day in the life of Tommy Lee is? This is Tommy narrating now. So it shows a montage of Tommy just going crazy. He's a party guy. He's so crazy they have to handcuff him to the bed, and he's just debaucherous. He's running around in a thong in the hotel, and he's riding a motorcycle, and he's at strip clubs, and party. That scene, I give that scene a half. It's a little over the top, and kind of unnecessary in the movie, but at least it gets back to somewhat fun. Next scene. Doc brings Nikki's mom to the gig. Oh no. You brought my mom to the gig. I hate my mom. His mom, who's a horrible actress. She's aged older this time. Still a horrible actress. Hey, Nikki, or hey, Frank. Was what's the song that she was the Looks That Kill? Was that song Looks That Kill? Tell me that was about me, wasn't it? And Nikki goes, "Fuck you, Mom." Doc, Why'd you bring her here? You're fired, man. You don't care about me. You're just another money grubber with your hands in our pockets. You're fired. Stupid scene. Yes, inaccurate. I know Eddie Trunk has tweeted about it. The doc told him it was inaccurate. Thank God Eddie Trunk's there to point us in the right direction of what's factual and what's not. I'm almost finished with this Tecate. Okay. Next scene. Nikki's falling deeper into heroin. Oh, I'm falling deeper into heroin. Lost my pen. Oh, shit. Fuck, okay. Who cares? That scene's stupid. I don't even remember it. It was that stupid. So Nikki, then we get to, earlier in the I think maybe in that scene, Tommy asked Nikki to be the Nickster, to be his best man at his wedding for to Heather Locklear. And at Tommy's wedding, Nikki's wasted. Man, I had no idea you'd be using at my wedding, man. This is the most important day of my life. You know all this. He goes, no. The most important. Oh, why are you getting wasted at the happiest day of my life? No, dude. The happiest day of your life was when I let you join my band, Motley Crue. And then it shows them at the wedding, and they get through the wedding, and Nikki pulls it together somehow, and dumb scene, just a dumb scene altogether. Over the top, bad acting, and so on and so forth. Next scene, Nikki ODs on heroin. Oh no. This is the famous Nikki dying scene. A guy in there, Nikki's at a party with a bunch of junkies, and they're all doing smack. And he lets a guy shoot him up. And next thing you know, Nikki dies. Nikki ODs. They call the ambulance to come get him. They're trying to bring him back to life in the ambulance. Oh, they're trying to revive him. He's not coming back to life. Oh no. Cut to radio station or a TV. Unconfirmed reports Nikki Sixx, bassist for Motley Crue, has died on the Sunset Strip. Vince Neil sees it on the news, is crying. Was that the scene? Hold on a second. Yeah. His daughter, Vince's daughter, Vinny's daughter. What's wrong, Daddy? Oh, nothing, honey. Nothing. Just go back to bed. You're supposed to be crying. You're supposed to feel sorry for Nikki. But again, I didn't feel sorry. And so he finally, I was going to say something else. I'm getting lost in the scenes here. I'm getting my scenes mixed up. So that happens. Nikki dies, supposedly, and the guy finally brings him back to life. Brings him back to life, and he comes back. Cut that scene over. I'll give that scene a half because you had to put it in the movie, but I didn't care. I was not sad that Nikki died. In the book, yeah, I was kind of sad. The book was great, but in this movie, for some reason, I just didn't give a shit. So, the same night that Nikki dies, they let him out of the hospital. He walks out of the hospital, goes home, while the sound of Johnny Thunders' Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory is playing, and he shoots up again. The same night he gets out of the hospital, he goes home and shoots up. Bullshit! Bullshit. First of all, you OD, they're going to put you under 72-hour observation, so they wouldn't have let him out the same night, so that's bullshit. Next night, and he doesn't come home and shoot up. I just know it. He doesn't come home and shoot up. All right, I just know it's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. And the fact that they put Johnny Thunders, You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory, cliche, cliche, cliche. Give that scene a big 0. Okay. So we take a break. No, I'm gonna continue with this. An hour and 6 minutes. We played one song. Oh well. What are you gonna do, friends? Let me cut to some more reviews from the friends of the Rock and Roll Geek Show. Jesse Dinos. They took some liberty with the book, which took liberty with real life. They made such a big deal about it for so long and not sure it was worth the wait. They were an overrated band. Okay, I don't think he really saw the band. Alex Olive. Oh, Alex sent me a review. I got to find that. Let me see if I can find the Alex Oliver review. Oh, wait, back up here. Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. All right, let me pull that. So another review while that's downloading. Let's see. Sean Lane, I've seen a better film on teeth. James Schwab, the book is really good. Sure, it was about 80% fiction, but it also captured the spirit of real events. The movie started good, but got weaker and weaker as it went on. They either skipped completely relevant parts or made them almost a footnote instead of a plot device. They neutered Dot McGee's character and glossed over Nicky's repeated relapse and made him way more important to Dr. Feelgood than he was. He relapsed in the studio and was strung out for most of the recording. Not a single producer is shown. Okay, he's obviously a huge Motley Crue fan. Again, I think because Alex Oliver is also a huge Motley Crue fan. Let me pull this review up here. Alex Oliver is people who are serious. I've read a lot of reviews. A lot of people you either love this movie or you hated it. It's not either love or hate. It's been mixed reviews, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But the hardcore Motley Crue fans, casual fans seem to like the movie, and the critics obviously hated the movie. But the hardcore fans, like I think James Schwab is a hardcore Motley Crue fan. I could be wrong, but he didn't like the movie. He said the movie is kind of entertaining, but it loses so much in translation and the glossing over. I mean, come on, no Pam Anderson. Was Pam Anderson in the book? Was she in the Dirt book? I have to go back and look at the book again. The one thing I'll really say is they nailed the look, especially that rapper dude as Tommy. The actors were pretty perfect. Oh, and Heather Locklear chick was so close, I thought it was like her daughter or something. But overall, he didn't really like the movie. They made Nicky out to be more than he was most of the time, which was only a driving force in that band when he was sober, which wasn't until after Dr. Feelgood. Before that, he was just as much of a wreck as everyone else, and they worked against each other. So here's Alex Oliver's review.
Michael, it's Alex, Bathroom Wall here. How the devil are you?
I'm super great.
Couldn't be better and all that.
Exactly. Et cetera, et cetera.
Here's my show review. Not show review. Here's my film review for The Dirt. And bear in mind, I actually like Motley Crue. It's fucking dreadful. There you go. That's
all right.
That saved you an episode.
All right. Well, I didn't. I was doing the review anyway, Alex. So my point is, casual Motley Crue fans seem to like the movie, but people who are really hardcore Motley Crue fans, because I know for a fact Alex is a big Crue fan. They're those kind of people, I think, are offended the way they made this movie. I mean, again, Nikki Sixx in this interview, he's talking like this movie's Oscar worthy. He said they set out to make a movie like Goodfellas. You set out to make a movie like Goodfellas, but hey, let's get the guy who did Jackass to make a movie that's going to be up there with Goodfellas. No, it was like a Jackass movie. You get a guy that made Jackass, it's going to look like Jackass. All right, back to the review. I'm getting bummed out. Let me play a little bit of Crue. Calm down a little bit here. While I get another Tecate. Dude, you know that song on with the show about Frankie dying? Yeah, that was me metaphorically killing my alter ego when I became Nikki Sixx. Maybe I'll play. Yeah, I'll have a little bit of background music for the rest of the review. How about that? And just like that, he gets clean. And in the movie, Nikki says Motley Crue was going to rehab. And then it cuts to them making Dr. Feelgood. That scene, I will give a half. Next scene, Vince comes home on tour from the Dr. Feelgood tour. Comes home. His wife, there's nothing in his house. All the boxes are packed. His wife had left him. Vinny's pissed. He doesn't show up to the recording of the next album of Dr. Feelgood. Oh no, wait a minute. So they did Dr. Feelgood. After Dr. Feelgood, he comes home. His wife left him. He's pissed off. They're wondering where's Vinny? They call him. He doesn't answer the phone. He tears the battery out of the cordless phone while he's watching Van Halen Mach 2 with Sammy Hagar on the MTV screen. They finally fax him. Dude, get your ass down here now! So he shows up. What's up, man? The rest of the band's going, dude, we're here trying to write an album and you ain't coming back, man. Where are you? Where you been? Well, this album sucks. I quit the band. And he runs out the door. I quit. You can't quit. You're fired. No, I quit first, dude. And they're without a singer. Just like that, Vinny's gone. I give that scene a +1. Because at that point, I'm desperate for rock instead of the darkness. Not the band The Darkness, just dark parts of the movie. All right. Cut to them in the studio of MTV, introducing their new singer, John Corabi. They're kind of cutting between them introducing John Corabi. This is another. How about this one? Okay. So they're kind of cutting between. I should probably play something from around the dirt, around. Yeah, I'll leave it on. I'll put. Sure, this part's fine. Okay. So cut to them, MTV. So it's kind of going back. I lost my place here. So it's kind of going back and forth between them introducing John Corabi to the world via MTV, and Vince in the hospital with his kids. So they're talking. Motley Crue's introducing the new singer, and Vince is in the hospital. I gotta turn off Motley Crue. It's kind of distracting me. Vince finds out his daughter has cancer, which my wife says she didn't have cancer, he had leukemia. So I don't know. You see the little girl in the bed crying, Daddy, why are they gonna cut me? What's wrong? By the way, the little girl's the best actor in the movie. I'll just say that. It shouldn't be making you cry. It would make most guys with a daughter. As a guy with a daughter, I should be crying during this scene. For some reason, it didn't do anything to me. I don't know why. Maybe I'm an asshole. I don't know. But the scene with Vinny's daughter in the hospital with leukemia or stomach cancer, whatever she had, I should be crying, but I'm not crying. It didn't faze me in the least. It didn't even bum me out. It was just kind of like, I don't know. Even Vinny's crying in the movie too. The daughter's crying, the wife's crying, everybody's crying, but I'm not crying. My wife wasn't crying either. So I got to give that scene a 0. For that reason. I mean, I didn't care about the characters. Cut to scene 36. Motley Crue's playing gigs with the new. By the way, they make John Corabi out to look like a complete idiot. I mean, if I was John Corabi, I'd be kind of like offended by the way I was portrayed in the movie. I mean, he had no lines, but just the 2 scenes he was in, he looked like Weird Al Yankovic with a goofy smile. He's happy to be there, et cetera, et cetera. So the Crues play into empty houses, which is actually true, because I remember they had a gig at the Warfield, I think, and they couldn't sell tickets, and they were all bummed out. So that scene, playing empty house, I'll give that scene a 1, even though they didn't really talk about it that much. They didn't really go that much into it. Next scene, just like that, Vinny's kid's dead. The kid's dead in the hospital bed. Everybody's crying, except for me and my wife. Give that scene a 0. Next scene, Tommy's in his little office room or man cave room or whatever, listening to some EDM music. In walks Heather with a National Enquirer that has a picture of Tommy Lee and a porn star on the front. Get out of my house, you bastard! You're fucking porn stars. Good luck with your life. Hey, what the hell, man, dude? Gets pissed off, punches the fucking glass, breaks glass, hurts his hand. Tommy's divorced. Absolutely ridiculous, but I like that scene. I give it a 1. All right. Next scene. Elektra drops Motley Crue. Cuts to Nikki and Tom Zutaw in the Rainbow at the exact same table where Tom Zutaw was getting oral sex under the table. I figured it'd be this is good of a might as well end it where it all began, man. Yeah, we're dropping you, but we're giving you all your rights to all your music back. Oh, isn't that convenient? Which, by the way, that they did get the rights to their music back, but it happened years later. They had to go through a lot of bullshit to get their music back, the rights to their music. But for the sake of the movie, they get dropped, and part of the deal of them getting dropped is we'll throw you a bone, we'll give you the rights to all your music back. And Tom Zutaw goes, yeah, I remember getting a blowjob from, yeah, we don't do blowjobs at the table. It doesn't happen anymore, man. We don't do that kind of shit. In other words, they're not debaucherous anymore. Now it's all serious. Band has become serious work. So that scene, I give that scene a half. Scene 40. Somebody's at my door. I hope somebody's going to get that. Next scene, Nikki's there. Nikki is in the. It cuts to a graveyard scene. You think it's going to be a funeral, or at least I thought it was going to be a funeral for Vinny's daughter, but it wasn't. It's Nikki visiting his dad's grave with a guy who claims to be his half brother. All my life, I've been chasing ghosts. Oh no, that's the next scene. Sorry. So it cuts. So they're in the graveyard. Yeah, man, you're lucky you didn't meet your dad, or our dad, excuse me, because he's with his half brother. He was a real asshole, man. You didn't miss anything. But I really like Motley Crue, man. I lost my virginity to Home Sweet Home. All right, dude. See you later, man. And that was the scene. It was kind of supposed to be a poignant scene in the movie, I guess, or at least Nikki thinks. But to me, it wasn't necessary. Next scene, Nikki has a revelation. I spent my whole life chasing after ghosts when all what I was looking for was right in front of me the whole time. My real family, my band. So he has a revelation that the band was his family all along, and he needs to get his band back together. Stupid scene. Give it a 0. All right, we're almost done with the scene by scene review of The Dirt, friends. Woo! Painful, I know. Hey, man, you can skip this episode. I understand. Ooh. Next scene. They're at Tommy Lee's house. The door knocks. It's Nikki. Making amends. Hey, man. I'm sorry for what I did to you. I showed up to your wedding, man. That was an important day in your life, and I showed up fucked up. And for that, I'm sorry. I'm doing my 21 steps. I'm making amends. So just like that, they're friends again. They're family again. They're going on a mission. The quote in the movie, we're going on a mission to get our fucking singer back. So they go pick up Mick Mars, and they're on their way to get Vince back. That's not how it happened in real life. How it happened in real life, I'm sure I'm not completely factually accurate, but they got dropped from Elektra. Nobody would give them a gig anymore. They had nothing. Nothing. I think Nikki tried to do that stupid band with Tracy Guns. What was it? What are they called? They had Ginger in the band for a while. You know the band I'm talking about. Why can't I think of it at the point right now? I don't. You know the band I'm talking about. Email rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. Refresh my. You know the band. They were a crappy band. All right. I think Scott Sorry might have been in the. No, was Scott Sorry? No, Scott Sorry wasn't in the band. It was Nikki Sixx. You know the band. Anyway, regardless, couldn't get it back together, and so. Think for them to get a record deal or they had to. Nobody wanted to book them without Vinny back in the band, so they had to grovel and get Vinny back. They did. So the next scene, when they do get Vince back in the band, they try to talk him back in the band. Vinny, why should I come back to you guys, man? You just missed the band. You just want me to be back in the band for the money, man. And Nikki goes, I don't care if Motley ever plays another note. You guys are the only family I've ever known. And Vince breaks down and cries. I'm calling bullshit on that scene. All right. Where am I? Yeah. I'm calling bullshit on that scene because they got into Tommy Lee and Vince Neil when Vince got back in the band, Tommy and Vince got into a fist fight in the parking lot. I remember it. I remember it like it was almost yesterday. He beat his ass. I think Vince beat Tommy's ass, and Tommy quit the band. So it wasn't like they were family and they just wanted their singer back. They needed Vince back for the money. Vince was right in the movie. But since Vince cried in the scene, it's not supposed to happen like this, man. Your daughter's not supposed to die. I like the scene. I'll give it a half. Can't give it a 1 because I'll lose my rock credibility. All right. So finally, last scene. The band is back. They're back, playing stadiums, and everything is great again. And they all live happily ever after. It shows them all walking backstage in their own separate dressing rooms to the adoring crowds. And just like that, the story ends happily ever after. Not the way it really happened. They got Vince back in the band, and they did an album called Generation Swine, which I actually like. I think Generation Swine is a kind of underrated album. Now, I had some other things I was going to do on this episode, but I think I'm going to end the episode here, friends. I'll do another episode this week because I have some audio comments and other music I want to play. So I'm going to end the episode here with a Motley Crue song from Generation Swine, okay? So what really happened at the end, which this is probably not in the dirt. I have to pull my book back out. It's been a long time since I read it when it first came out. But I don't think the Pamela Lee stuff is in the dirt. And I don't think the stuff about Generation Swine and all that is in there either. Because they did Generation Swine and the thing about Generation Swine, the selling point was we got the original band back together. All 4 members of Motley Crue are back. They did Generation Swine, which I think is a really good album and quite underrated. After Generation Swine, they did a Greatest Hits tour. That's when Tommy quit the band, because I think that's when he kicked Vince Neil's ass, or vice versa. They got Randy Castillo in the band, playing smaller venues. Randy Castillo got sick, died a few years later, I think. They got the girl from Hole. They got some girl to play drums. Then they got Tommy back in the band, and that's when they did I believe they did the Carnival of Souls after that. I think Nikki talked Tommy into coming back, and I went to that reunion, and I remember Nikki going, "T-Bone, I'm so glad we're back, dude." That show was okay. I didn't really love it, but I went. I think did I buy a ticket? I might have bought a ticket. I don't know, but I went. It was okay. So that's how it really went. So they didn't live happily ever after and were back on top and played together for another 20 years. It didn't happen like that. So what do I get? All right, well, let's tally it all up here, shall we? We need to tally up my score. It's out of 44 scenes. I think the dude count was about 26. Because after the movie took a dark turn, Tommy said dude a lot less. So most of those 26 dudes were probably about 18 of them were in the first half of the movie. All right. So out of 44, let me count them all up. We got 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10.5, 11, 12, 13 and a half, 14. Wait a minute, I got to start over. I apologize. Fuck. All right, let me play a little bit of merry-go-round while I'm counting, okay? So we got 1, 2, 3 and a half, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half, 11, 12, 13, 14 and a half, 15 and a half, 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, I got it tallied up. 19 out of 44. 19 out of 44. I think that's pretty damn scientific, friends. Oh. Yes, the rock and roll scoring system, 19 out of 44. That is completely ridiculous. I'm sorry. But for some reason, I think it's kind of accurate. All in all, entertaining. I recommend it. If you got nothing to do on a Friday night and got some friends over for beers and want a good laugh about an unintentionally funny movie that they really, truly think they made an Oscar winner. They really think they made a fucking Oscar winner movie. If you want to watch a movie like that, I highly recommend it, friends. But go into it knowing that a guy who made the movie Jackass made this movie. Is it better than Bohemian Rhapsody? No fucking way. No way. I know Bohemian Rhapsody's wrought with timeline inaccuracies. And had a bigger budget. Oh, somebody posted which made a really, really good point. Let me find this review. Let's see. Kevin O'Connor. And I totally agree with Kevin O'Connor. It would have been better if this was a series spread out over maybe 2 seasons to cover all the material and the complexities that came with them. Line up writers in the vein of Sopranos. Just think if it was like even Netflix could have made it like a series. You could have gotten a bunch of episodes. And you could have got people directing this thing. And it would have been a lot better, as a lot more detailed, with different directors making it a series. Maybe they wanted to do that and they couldn't get enough interest, but I think it would have been a pretty good TV series. Somebody else made a good point too, and I don't remember who it was, but the guy playing Vince Neil, dead ringer for Jeff Spicoli in Fast Times. Pete Weinzetti said that. Jeff Spicoli was amazing as Vince Neil. So right. So right. He just likes that Jeff Spicoli, man. All right. So all in all, it's a decent movie. It's 19 out of 44. It's a fun movie, but not good. It's corny. It's a cornball movie, but it was fun. All right. Take it for what it is, a jackass movie with Motley Crue story, okay? But it's worth seeing. I don't tell you to avoid it because it's good for a laugh. All right. I'm going to wrap up the show. We'll do another show this week. I will not wait 2 weeks for the next episode. I hope you enjoyed my scene-by-scene review of the Motley Crue movie, The Dirt. You believe Nikki Sixx has The Heroin Diaries is coming out? He's making a musical based on The Heroin Diaries? Whew, that I got to see. Now that will be a cringer, man. Okay, where am I? All right, I'm going to play a song from Motley Crue Generation Swine. Let me pause it while I find it. This album came out in 1997, which is around the time that the Wild Hearts were probably around PHUQ from Wild Hearts, sometime around that. And Three Colors Red, there was like an English rock scene that was starting to come up. And I think Nikki Sixx was a little bit influenced by that. And so they got Nikki back in the band, and what I think they made what was actually a decent album, not a great album, but a decent album. It's got them with pig heads on the cover in front of an American flag, and Nikki Sixx got because throughout this album it sounds like Nikki's playing a 12-string bass, like a Tom Peterson bass, and I think the songs are half decent on this album. Some was a little bit Marilyn Manson-y, but I think the songs are underrated and. I like this era of Motley Crue. I think this record is a lot better than it sold because I think the record tanked, which is why they did a greatest hits right after, I think. Let me take a sip of this fine Tecate. So I'm going to play the title track from Generation Swine. I want to thank you for listening to this Rock and Roll Geek show. I know you could have done a lot of other things, and there's a lot of other podcasts to listen to, so I appreciate you listening to this. Spoiler alerts throughout, and I hope I didn't spoil it for too many people, but I would imagine if you read the book and wanted to see the movie, you've already seen it now. And I warned you at the beginning that there were some spoilers. So hope you enjoyed it, friends. If you did enjoy it, ask yourself, what was this episode worth to me? Did I get any value for this? And if you did, I ask that you please contribute that to the show, friends. I would much appreciate it. All right? I will talk to you this week. I got an audio comment. I got a Super Suckers review. I got some good emails to read. I've got some other good new music to play for you. Please keep the emails coming. rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. If you agree with me that Motley Crue, The Dirt, was about a 19 out of 44, send me an email, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com, with the subject line, Butler, you're right. Nikki Sixx is full of himself. Put that in the subject line. If you disagree and think this movie was fantastic, worthy of an Oscar, Butler, you're an asshole, and get over your fucking jealousy of Motley Crue and Nikki Sixx and Eddie Trunk, because you're an asshole and your show's a piece of shit and I find zero value in it. So I will not be donating. Put that in the subject line, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. All right, you can find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. You can find me on the Instagram, wait a minute. Let me start. You can find this show at rockandrollgeek.com. You can find me. You can email me, rockandrollgeek@gmail.com. Find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. Find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. You can find me on the Instagram, rockandrollgeek. Don't ask. And that's enough ways to reach me. I'll see you very soon, friends. Here is the title track from Generation Swine from Motley Crue, 1997. Like I said, Nicky got a 12-string bass, I think, because the 12-string bass is all over this album. It's got some pretty good melodies and a little Wild Hearts feel to some of these songs, I think. Although not really a Wild Hearts production, but Wild Hearts feel to some of the melodies. All right, thanks for listening, friends. I'll talk to you this week, hopefully very soon. Have a great rest of your... I don't know what I'm saying. I'll talk to you soon, friends.
Just like you. Generation
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.